Hey everybody and welcome. I am Trevor. I'm going to be your presenter and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what to expect out of the eBay portion of our program. It's a question I get a lot. Sometimes we hop right into doing eBay right at the very start when you get into this coaching program, and sometimes we don't spend enough time talking about why we do it that way and some of the goals and the objectives that we have along the way. And so I kind of want to give you guys a big picture overview of what we're going to be doing while we're doing eBay, what areas we can emphasize, and a lot of this is going to be customized and tailored to you as the client. You don't have to do all of these things, but we'll make some recommendations along the way. And then just talk about some of the challenges that you have sometimes, being an eBay business, and go from there. So just to kick it off, I got asked again. I think it was last week. Oh, it could have been earlier this week. These days, the days kind of just mesh all together. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Time goes by faster, I feel like, the older you get. But somebody told me the other day after going through some of our curriculum, they said, Trevor, so what you're telling me here, and they'd only been in the program for a little bit, so I can't hold this against them, but they said, Trevor, so what you're telling me here is that you can make extra money on the side with an eBay business, but you can't really make a living on eBay. And I thought to myself, no, I mean, that couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, absolutely, you can make a full-time living just on eBay. And we've got a couple of, well, I say a couple, we've got more than a couple of clients that do. There's a couple of examples that I'll share with you that I'll use a little bit later on. But guys, you absolutely can make a living on eBay. Absolutely. The whole reason why we start you on eBay when you get into the mentoring program is we just feel like it's a really easy way to start your online business. It's very simple and straightforward once you understand it. It's often really quick to bring in revenue and make us money. And a lot of you guys, after you invest into a program like this, like, you got to see some positive results sooner rather than later, to keep you moving full speed ahead, right? And so we want to see sales, we want to see revenue, we want to see you guys get paid back from your initial investment as soon as possible. And that's why we do a lot of eBay together at the start. So if you're not interested in doing eBay at the start, then that's fine. Like, there's other things that we can move into. We do websites with our clients, we do link posting and affiliate marketing, but this is going to be what's emphasized at the start, because we really believe, and historically this has been true, that you can make really good money on eBay early on, and that's what we want for our clients. And you can do it long term. Several clients come to mind that have quit their jobs and they just do eBay. They don't even do websites or anything else. They don't do link posting. They just do this, and this is how they make their money. So it does work. You just got to give it its just dues, and you'll get what you put into it. Of course, I guess that's true of a lot of things. So here's the 4 areas that we emphasize, guys. When you first get into our program, we start doing eBay together. You'll find that you're watching a lot of videos, first of all. And that's because usually your coach during your weekly sessions may not have time to cover all the tiny little nuances and the fundamentals of starting an eBay business. And so we have you watch a few videos and webinars, and that's okay. I mean, expect that. But most of your work with your coach will be a little more hands-on as you move along. But number 1 here is both something my clients love and hate at the same time. So the first area that we usually start with is selling products from your home, garage sales, retail sales, like discounted racks at a retail store where you can get stuff 60, 70% off. That's what I mean by retail sales. In other words, selling some stuff that you have access to locally. And that usually gets brought up early on, not because we really want to emphasize that to you guys as a big-time money-making strategy, because most of you guys don't want to carry inventory. You don't want to go around to garage sales getting stuff to sell, although some of you guys do and are good at it. A lot of you guys don't have a lot of things around the house. All of those things are just fine. This number one is totally optional. So we may bring it up early on, and the reason why I bring it up early on to most of my clients is I like you to sell a few things from around the house because eBay really prefers that you do when you first set up your account. They want to make sure you're capable of creating listings. I don't think it's necessarily a great idea right when you open your account to try to sell a $800 flat screen TV, right? That looks a little shady to eBay. So when you very first open your account, make sure you put up a couple of things from around the house. You know, maybe some clothing items, maybe some old birthday or Christmas gifts that you never did anything with, you never got them out of the package. Maybe you've got some old, dusty home decor or trinkets around the house that you don't really care about, but somehow they move from house to house with you, and you know they end up just taking up space. I think we all have stuff like that. In fact, interestingly enough, eBay came out with a study a few years ago where they said like the average American home has $600 or $700 worth of merchandise in it that just basically isn't being used, that people just they aren't doing anything with, which doesn't surprise me. So that's why we tell you to start there on number one. Now, some of my clients take this to a whole nother level. There's this guy that I had followed for a lot of years on the internet. He's called the eBay Entrepreneur, and he actually quit his corporate job, working 9 to 5, just to sell on eBay. But he was doing it not through drop shipping, not through wholesale drop shipping or retail drop shipping. He would actually get up every single day, if you can imagine, and he would head out to retail stores around the place that he lived in his city, and he would go to Goodwill and some other thrift type stores, and he'd buy a bunch of product at cheap prices, and he would list it on eBay that afternoon. And then when he would make sales in the morning, he would get up, package that stuff out, and then he would just recycle that every single day. And that's what he liked to do. And I'm not sure exactly how much money he was making doing it, but you know, he's raising a family. I got to imagine he was making 60, 70, 80 grand a year doing it. So like, can you make money like that? Yeah, you can. It's just a different kind of business model because it's you're out and you're always hustling and finding products. And I would guess that 98% of you guys, when I say you guys, clients in our coaching program, usually don't really prefer to do business that way. You'd rather get suppliers, you'd rather do drop shipping, you'd rather do it a different way. And so number one there, you can take that to the fullest extent and go crazy with it, or you can list a couple of items just so you can show eBay that you can do it, and then you move on to the next thing. So that's why I put optional for number one. We really have no expectation that you carry that through. That we at least like to give that as an option. Okay. So that's part one here on our roadmap. Now, part two, you'll find that usually we get into retail drop shipping just right off the bat, just right after you list a couple of things from around the house. Now, of course, before you do any of this, you probably watched a lot of webinars. You've got your eBay and your PayPal account set up. You may not know much about eBay. A lot of my clients know nothing at all when they first get into the program, and that's okay. That's why you do a lot of those videos at the start, and then you list a couple of things, and then you're into retail drop shipping. Now, retail drop shipping, guys, is just simply using retail companies. Target would be an example, Walmart, Sears, Macy's, Amazon, Overstock, I mean, you name it. There's lots of different mainstream retailers out there that you can use. And you list their products for sale on eBay at a marked up price. And if your marketing is sound and you scale it up and you do the right number of listings, you can make pretty darn good money doing just that, retail drop shipping, okay? That usually comprises your second, third, fourth week in the program, sometimes fifth, sixth week of training. We tend to spend a lot of time on it because there's not a lot of hoops you got to jump through to start. That's a great way to start doing drop shipping. So generally in your first month doing this eBay training that we do, you're probably in and working on number 2. And you'll probably continue to work on number 2 for months after, because we always want you to do some retail drop shipping. But usually we train for about a month or so on that. Now, shortly thereafter, we usually start training you on number 3, which is called international product sourcing, or in parentheses, I put carrying inventory. Now, this is different than number 1. Number 1, you're just kind of hustling around town trying to find a deal on something, thrift stores and discount racks or stuff from around the house. That's one thing. It's not super sustainable though, because it takes a lot of work. You're constantly out there hustling. Number 3 is different. It's where you find a good supplier. It could be international. A lot of my stuff I get is international. You could be buying directly out of China. Or it could be a manufacturer right here in the United States. The bottom line is you're carrying inventory. You're buying product up front in bulk, and you're getting absolute rock bottom prices on it. Now that's appealing to, again, only a certain subset of my clients, because in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to take a little bit of risk, right? You have to be able to buy some inventory in bulk. And that can sometimes be expensive. You could spend several $100s to several $1,000s doing that and then reselling that inventory. The big bonus, though, if you do it right, you can turn a $300 investment into $1,500, right? Or more, or less, right? But the big draw to this is the fact that your profit margins are super high. So I do this, full disclosure, guys, like with my eBay business, if it were summed up in these 3 areas, number 2, number 3, and number 4 is basically where I spend all of my time. I don't do a lot of number 1, not anymore. Maybe when I started, but number 2, 3, and 4 is really where I spend my time. So, I mean, and this presentation isn't about going into detail on really any one of these. I want to provide you with a little perspective as to what our eBay training program is all about, okay? So that's carrying inventory. And if you're looking at me like, no way, I don't want to put money out. I've already invested enough to be here. I'm not interested in buying inventory or taking that type of risk. Or, I live in a small home. I don't have space for inventory. That's fine. In your case, you would be our type of client that would be focusing on number 2 and then number 4 as well. And I want to talk about number 4 for just a second. That's where you guys do wholesale drop shipping, okay? So wholesale drop shipping would be a lot like retail drop shipping, only you're working through an actual wholesale company where you're getting below market prices that you can mark up and sell for a higher price. Now, these companies are harder to find. That's why we don't start with them early on. And in addition to them being harder to find, they're tougher to work with, because some of them have some hoops you got to jump through to be able to work with them. So that's why we put it as number 4 on our map here. And you're probably looking into this strategy, 4, 5, 6 weeks into the program, looking for these types of companies with us. But if you like the drop shipping model, really long term, you should have some sort of combination of wholesale drop shipping suppliers and retail drop shipping suppliers that you're using in tandem to build kind of an overall drop shipping business, okay? And that would be part of the program that we work on, like I said, a little bit later on. Those are the 4 parts. Now there's some other sort of neat ways to make money on eBay, but in our program, we've just found that those 4 areas are really where people do it, especially in number 2 and especially in number 4. And for those that are willing to try carrying a little bit of inventory, talk to your coach about it, because we can train you on that as well, okay? Now, to put this in perspective for the whole entire program, I've got a few clients here and there that they'll do this eBay thing with us for a while, and they may have made some money, maybe some really good money, but sometimes there's a few you guys that really get into this program because you want to do link posting and you want to do a website. And so if that's you, that's fine. We'll shift our focus and we'll do that. But please understand that we teach you this eBay stuff not because it's cool to make a couple of bucks on the side, but because we believe this can really actually turn into life-changing money. Yes, this can actually sustain you. And the example I always give, and we use these examples a lot because we have a hard time getting our clients to actually make videos for us. I guess a lot of you guys don't like to get put on camera, and that's just fine. We don't have that expectation. But if you come to our website, elsmentor.com/success, there's actually a testimonials page right here. And I've shared this with a lot of you guys before. I'm going to just send this link out to everybody. Okay, there it goes. Oh, I'm going to try it again. You guys get it? Let me know if you got this link. Okay, most of you are saying yes. Got it. Okay. If you haven't seen these couple videos, please see them. We're always in the process of putting more videos of our clients together, but like I told you earlier, a lot of our clients are sort of shy. They don't want to get up, put on a video, and that's never going to be an expectation. None of you guys, no matter how well you do with us, are we ever going to expect you to get on a video. We'll invite you to when you start making really good money, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Sometimes we just have you do a little write-up. But bottom line is, Dan and Anthony here are two really good examples of people that do this full-time. That's not 100% true for Dan because he is a workaholic and he still does work for his part-time, or well, technically it's a full-time job, but he still does that and then balances eBay. He's made tremendous money on eBay using only the retail strategy. So back to our little our four-part roadmap. He does number 2. That's what Dan does, and has made huge money. I mean, you see it right here in the summary. This was put up a little while ago, so this was in the summer. But anyway, he made $6,000 profit one month. Having not been in the program all that long, in order to make $6,000 profit in a month off of eBay for the retail strategy, you got to be doing 25, 30 grand in sales, So, and then you've got Anthony White here, who, after being in the program for about a year, quit his job and just does eBay full time. Neither of these two are doing anything on websites yet. All the money they make is coming through just doing eBay. So, I mean, I guess to answer a lot of your guys' questions about, is eBay something really sustainable? Maybe it's just something I do kind of on the side. For you, maybe, but if you want to make it into a full-time business like this, you can. These two gentlemen are really good examples of that. And we hope that they continue to do websites and do other things so that they can scale the business up. But in the meantime, they do a really good job with what they do on eBay. Okay? So, guys, I thought this was appropriate to go over with you guys. And I know this is geared a little more towards maybe some of my clients that are newer in the program, but that's okay. Sometimes it's good to just get a better perspective of where you're headed. And so if you've only been in for a few weeks and you're in number 2, just know that there's more coming, and that we plan on training you on more. Maybe you're out here on number 4 and you're trying to get the business going, and maybe things are going really well, and that's great. After you get through our eBay training program, we'll bring you into websites and link posting, and we've got a lot more that we want to share. But this is kind of a good roadmap, and at least ought to provide you with some perspective on how the eBay is going to go. And I can't emphasize enough the fact that number 1 and number 3 are totally optional. If you're here to do drop shipping, that's what we'll do. If you're here to be a little more creative and try out some different strategies, we're more than happy to do that as well. And by the way, to top it off, eBay actually offers health insurance. So if you end up doing eBay full-time and you make a living wage there, you can actually get health insurance directly from eBay. It's almost like you're working for a company, right? Getting health insurance through your employer. eBay, quote unquote, is your employer in that case, and you can actually get health insurance from them. So that's just another signal that yes, you can. You can do just fine if you just want to do eBay. But I would expect all of you guys should at least dabble in all of the stuff that we teach, because you may find that you're a much better website marketer than you are an eBay marketer. Or you may find that you're much better on eBay than on a website. Whatever the case may be, let's have you try out everything, and whatever works best for you, that's what we'd like you to stick with. Okay? All right, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the webinar. We wanted to keep this short and sweet. For those of you guys who are watching this recorded, thanks for coming along. And for those of you guys who are here live, I'll stay after here just for a few minutes, answer and take some questions, and then we'll see you guys all next week. Thanks again.